like if the goal is what people say, what people like Alex Jones, for example, say, which is just to have some kind of global regime, the best way to do that is to take the strongest, most resilient country. And we're resilient for a number of reasons. One, because we all have guns. Two, because we got 3,000 miles of ocean on both sides. So all these reasons, right? The same reasons that and our purchasing power as well. All the reasons we became a superpower in the first place. The only way to defeat America is from inside out. Everybody knows that. So how do you do it? You just create chaos. People, here's what doesn't happen. When people don't feel, and
which is the very basic divide and conquer.
It is, yeah. You can read this in Locke. You can read just read First Principles books, and you'll find this. When people don't feel comfortable and safe, when they don't think that their country's going to be around 30 or 50 years from now, they don't get a 30-year mortgage, right? They stop participating in the infrastructure that makes the country great. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's the best way to attack it. You don't have to launch bombs at America.
So let's say you have a globalist regime. You could use the banking system to jack up the rates of, say, getting a house.
Yeah.
Use that regime, all of a sudden it's 10%.
And then you crash the world's reserve currency and try to replace it with a central bank digital currency, which is what's happening right now.
Right. When you have a war that goes on as long as Ukraine and Russia, Americans check out of it. They did when he was over there. After
everybody said, oh, America's been at war for 15, 20 years. Like, no, we were at war. You guys were at the shopping mall.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that's not an insult. That's just how it is. That's life has to go on, right?
It is. And so, like, for me, when I hear, like, Ukraine, anytime somebody says Ukraine now, it's like hearing That Ain't Texas by Beyonce on, like, fucking TikTok, where I'm like, nope, I got to shut this off. Like, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care anymore, and I need to move on with something that I actually give a shit about. A 2.5-year war for me in two countries that I've never been to and I have no desire to go to in real life. Like, sorry about it. I just don't care.
Well, why would you? I mean, at this point, I actually care about America and America first, and I think we're losing that completely by trying to constantly take on all these other places, which just seems like such a waste of not only taxpayer money, but money we don't have. I mean, we have invisible money. We take out, $1 trillion extra a month that's non-existent, and then we just send it over by the pallet to other places?
But what they do is all these stories, but all the globalism and everything you guys are talking about, they beat us into the ground with all of this shit. And then you're just like, all right, great. I just want to get my kid to school. I just want to get the next meal. I just want to get the thing or whatever. How much you taxing me? How much you giving me? How much you throwing at me? All right, great. Just get on my face, get on my face, get on my face. And that's what they want.
Right, and it's odd, though, that people don't want, just their family values and to figure out, like, this is wrong, like, this is what's important in my life, this very small thing that should be important in your life, and they don't want that. They want to just jump back to fighting and arguing over stuff that's really an unwinnable thing. I mean, it's like, it goes back to, like, Dale Carnegie, like, you never win an argument, you kind of just both walk away and somebody has a grudge against you.
Right.
It's all it seems that the politics...
Well, it's a good distraction, right? It's a good
100%.
distraction. It's the Colosseum, it's the Roman Colosseum, and it's probably just to bridge the gap between people realizing they're being fucked and actually doing something about it, right?
Right.
Because the truth is this laissez-faire attitude of live and let live, and we're just like our leaders will take care of it. That shit's over, man, and it is cyclical, as Jefferson predicted. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. He didn't mean war constantly. What he meant was that you have a republic if you can keep it, as Franklin said, right? Like it requires constant maintenance to make sure it stays there. And, we're back to, we've circled around back to the point where Adams said once that I must study war and politics so that my sons may have the liberty to study mathematics and philosophy, right? We're back to the war part. And it doesn't mean literal war. It means like we have to fight for the liberty we have, right? Think of it as a game of tug of war. You make some progress, they make some progress, back and forth. This is how government works. It becomes an engine to extract labor and wealth from the population, and you have to constantly fight against that shit. And the less you fight and the longer you go without fighting, the harder you're going to have to fight to get any of that shit back.
So then you have these, I guess I would ask you, like, you have these people around the country who don't actually know, and I mean, I guess myself included, to go into combat, but they're not even interested in looking at our country as anything more than a racist, horrible misstep, misguided, like they don't seem to grasp anything about the history of the world or where we're at. Yeah. Like, how do we get past that when you have, I don't know what, arguably 30% of the country that just wants to leech off the idea that we're a completely worthless, terrible. Like, hey, can you have a republic if that exists where there's?
Well, no, they can't. They can't exist at the same time.
That's what I mean.
So it matters who our heroes are, right? Our heroes were self-starters. They were warriors. They were people that would put other things before themselves, whether it's their religion or their country or their family or whatever. Sometimes a stranger, right? The Good Samaritan. The reason that story is important is that Samaria and Jerusalem, they were enemies, right? It isn't just that some stranger helped a guy. It's that my enemy came and helped me. That's the story of the Good Samaritan in the Bible, right? Now, to the other point, it matters who our heroes are. Athletes, fair enough, right? But who did our athletes used to be? Bob Feller.
O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bob Feller, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, these men left their careers to go fight in World War II. All of them. Right?
Of course.
And those are three.
It was country first every time.
Those are three Hall of Famers. Now our athletes, probably not, right? Pat Tillman is an exception to the rule at this point and not the rule itself.
Oh, even coming out and standing for the Pledge of Allegiance at some points.
In some points, it's been like that, yeah. So it matters who our heroes are. If our heroes are people who put the mission and ethics and morality and such before themselves, then that's what other people will emulate. If our heroes are the Kardashians or people taking selfies and shit in front of people swinging on trees in Japan and shit like that, like has happened before, right? Literally, or people taking selfies at Dachau and Auschwitz, then we will get the result of that, right? That's how it works. So the best way to describe the ethos that is appropriate to make a republic lasting and strong is from G.K. Chesterton. He's an English author, and he said that he said that men didn't love Rome because she was great. Rome was great because the men had loved her. So the 1619 Project bullshit, which is like revisionist nonsense, right? It is tearing at the soft underbelly of the American Republic.